The world is really changing at, well, a breathtaking pace, especially how we connect, how we buy things, how businesses operate globally. It feels like a digital revolution, doesn't it? Reshaping almost everything. So today, we're taking a deep dive into the global digital market. And when we say that, we're talking broadly about all the economic activity from digital services, e-commerce, software, online platforms, basically everything happening online worldwide. It's fundamentally changing businesses, how we interact, even whole economies. Our mission here is pretty simple. Cut through a lot of recent research, give you a clear picture of where this market is now, where it seems to be going, and maybe uncover some surprising trends hiding in the data. Okay, let's unpack this massive digital shift. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut to getting up to speed on these really crucial trends. And just so you know, all our insights today, they come from a really important new analysis. It's called Global Digital Market, Explosive Growth and Regional Trends, and it's provided by Cognitive Market Research. Let's kick things off with the sheer scale of this growth, because the global numbers, well, they really paint a picture of just how fast this market is expanding. So back in 2021, the global digital market was valued at just over $500 billion. Around $522 billion. But here's the kicker. It's projected to jump to over $832 billion by 2025. Okay, that's fast. But then it really takes off. It's expected to more than double again to a staggering $2.1 trillion by 2033. And behind that, a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of over 12%, specifically 12.356%, just between 2025 and 2033. For anyone not familiar, CAGR kind of smooths out the growth rate year over year, so that 12% shows really strong, sustained momentum.
Yeah, and what's fascinating there, it's not just the huge final number, the $2.1 trillion dollars. It's that sustained accelerating momentum you mentioned. The CGR tells that story. This isn't some, temporary blip. It really points to a universal shift, almost irreversible, I'd say, towards digital platforms in nearly every part of life and business. It's like it's becoming a fundamental layer for how economies work now, a real reorientation.
Fundamental layer. I like that. So, okay, that's the huge global picture. Now, where it gets really interesting is looking at who's leading this charge, which regions are out front. North America, maybe not surprisingly, is definitely right up there. A really strong digital presence already, their market. It's projected to go from roughly $190 billion back in 2021 to, wow, $743 billion by 2033. That's maintaining a solid CAGR of almost 12%, nearly 11.9%. And yeah, within North America, the U.S. is the giant, forecasted to go from about $148 billion in 2021 up to, get this, $568 billion by 2033. Though Canada and Mexico are seeing healthy growth too, they're expected to hit around $95 billion and $79 billion, respectively, by 2033. Okay, so North America is huge. Then right behind, you've got Europe, following closely. The digital market there is expanding from about $168 billion in 2021 to a projected $661 billion by 2033, and their CAGR is actually just a tiny bit higher than North America's, just under 12%, about 11.97%. Key players in Europe by 2033. Germany looking at nearly $100 billion. France, over $93 billion. The UK, just under $80 billion.
But here's something really interesting, a signal maybe, that rest of Europe category. It's expected to surge to almost $180 billion, and it has the region's highest CAGR, nearly 13.5%.
Those numbers for North America and the core European countries like Germany, France, the UK, they really highlight how established those markets are, right? Digital infrastructure adoption, it's mature,
Yeah.
deeply integrated. But that surge you pointed out in the rest of Europe with that higher CAGR, that's telling. It implies a broadening out. Digital is spreading and deepening beyond just those traditional economic giants. So you're likely seeing new investment, maybe new priorities, and smaller countries or places that were, let's say, less digitally saturated before. It's not just growth, it's about shifting dynamics within a mature region.
That's a great point, shifting dynamics within mature regions. So if North America and established Europe are kind of the mature leaders, where are we seeing the most dynamic new growth? Let's move east, because Asia Pacific, or APAC, is showing some truly rapid acceleration. It was around $101 billion back in 2021, projected to hit over $441 billion by 2033. And look at the CAGR, over 13.2%. That's higher than North America or Europe overall. China, clearly leading the region, forecasted to reach over $126 billion by 2033. Japan follows at nearly $86 billion. But here's a really significant one, India. It's really emerging as a major digital growth engine, expected to reach over $67 billion with an even higher CAGR of 14.068%. That's quite something. And just like we saw in Europe, that rest of APAC category, it really stands out again. The highest CAGR in the region, over 15.2%, reaching nearly $56.5 billion by 2033. Okay, then let's shift down to South America, also showing really powerful growth. That region's expected to grow from about $33, maybe $34 billion in 2021 to nearly $150 billion by 2033. Strong CAGR there too, over 13.7%. Key markets.
Brazil is forecasted at almost $46 billion and Argentina at nearly $21 billion by 2033.
Yeah, and if we connect this back to the bigger picture, the incredible population density in APAC, especially China and India, combined with rapidly increasing digital access, well, it makes this kind of exponential growth almost expected, but still profoundly impactful globally. These regions are just leveraging digital transformation at, well, an unprecedented pace, often mobile first, right? Because they didn't always have the same level of older fixed line infrastructure. And it's not just APAC. South America hitting significant strides too shows this isn't just one or two regions. It's a truly global acceleration now. It really speaks to that fundamental shift in access and consumer behavior.
Okay, so we've covered the established players, the rapid ascenders. Well, let's turn to the final reasons. Because one of them, well, it offers a truly remarkable finding. First, the Middle East. Steady expansion there. From around $27 billion in 2021 to over $100 billion projected by 2033. The CAGR is just over 11%, about 11.276. Major contributors expected by 2033. Saudi Arabia, over $37 billion. The UAE, over $11 billion. And Egypt, at nearly $9.5 billion. But then, Africa. This is a real eye-opener in the analysis. Honestly, the fastest-growing region by a long shot. It's expected to surge from just, $0.6 billion, $600 million in 2021, to a massive $19.78 billion by 2033. That's just explosive growth. It translates to an absolutely astonishing KGR of over 32%, 32.169% to be exact. I mean, it's a huge leap compared to any other region we've talked about. Nothing else is even close to that rate. Leading this incredible growth. South Africa, projected at over $6.2 billion. Nigeria, over $3.6 billion by 2033. And mirroring the other regions, that rest of Africa category, forecasted to reach nearly $10 billion, with the region's highest KGR again, over 32.6%. It's just, wow.
Right. It's stunning. And it raises a really important question. What's driving that? What's the story underneath those truly explosive numbers for Africa? Now, it's true. It is starting from a much lower base compared to, say, North America. That definitely plays a part in the high percentage growth. But these figures also speak to this incredible potential for leapfrogging, skipping over some of the older infrastructure stages that other regions went through. We're seeing this rapid embrace of mobile-first solutions, digital native services. Think about mobile banking, fintech, digital content delivery in Africa. It's booming. So it isn't just about catching up. It could actually be about creating entirely new economic models built digital first from the ground up. And that could really redefine things globally in the next decade or so.
Leapfrogging.
Yeah.
Creating new models.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Okay, so we have all these incredible numbers, this vivid picture of global digital expansion region by region. The big question then is, what's really fueling this explosion everywhere? And maybe more importantly, what does this actually mean for you, the listener?
Well, the analysis boils it down to a few key interconnected drivers, and they make a lot of sense when you think about it. First, simply increasing internet penetration. More people online, more at the time, often driven by cheaper smartphones and data, especially in emerging markets. Second, there's been this rapid adoption of all sorts of digital services by people, by businesses. Think about telehealth appointments, online learning, streaming entertainment, cloud services for companies. It's everywhere now. And finally, maybe the biggest driver is this accelerating, almost universal shift towards online platforms and operations across pretty much every industry, every region. It's not just the obvious stuff like e-commerce or social media anymore. It's how healthcare gets delivered, how kids get educated, how we buy groceries, even how governments interact with citizens. It's becoming, like I said before, that underlying infrastructure.
Absolutely. It underlines that this isn't just a story about tech companies anymore. It's really about how all businesses operate now, how all consumers interact, how economies themselves are evolving, which makes understanding the stuff truly vital, doesn't it? No matter what field you're in, it's a foundational shift we're all living through. So just recap quickly. The global digital market isn't just growing steadily. It's undergoing an explosive transformation. We've seen really diverse regional dynamics, right? From the established strength in North America and Europe to the rapid rise of Asia-Pacific and South America, and then that truly astonishing, potentially game-changing surge in Africa. But underneath it all, there's this universal, unstoppable drive towards a digitally connected future. And hopefully understanding these trends gives you, our listener, that shortcut we talked about, a way to be better informed about one of the most critical global shifts happening right now, to help you navigate, maybe even participate in this evolving landscape with a bit more insight. And maybe here's the final thought for you to chew on after this. Given those remarkable growth rates we saw in the rest of Europe, rest of APAC, and especially that mind-blowing rest of Africa category, what specific countries or maybe sub-regions within those groups, ones that aren't maybe the big names right now, which ones might emerge as the next major digital powerhouses? And maybe even more interesting, what new, perhaps surprising innovations might they bring to the global stage as they do? Something to think about.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into, well, one of the fastest moving parts of the global economy, the digital market. It's basically the engine behind almost everything online.
Yeah, absolutely. And our goal here really is to pull out the most important bits. What's driving it, the hurdles, what's next. Basically a quick way for you to get right up to speed on this crucial area.
Makes sense. So to really get this market, we need to look at what's pushing it forward, the accelerators. And the first one, maybe the most fundamental, is just how many people are online now. Everywhere.
It's massive.
It is. And this digital gold rush, it's not just about billions connecting. It's the incredible precision businesses have now. Global reach, targeted ads. It's all data-driven.
Exactly. Every click, every view becomes data. It turns marketing from, guesswork into something measurable, scalable even.
Right. And that precision is powered by more and more people getting online globally, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That rising internet penetration just feeds the demand for digital services constantly. It's kind of a loop, More users mean more data, which means better digital stuff, which brings in more users.
Okay, so expanding internet access is the foundation. But the real game changer lately, e-commerce.
Oh, definitely.
Online shopping has just completely flipped how we buy things, how brands compete.
Yeah.
Think about it getting noticed online with Google Ads, maybe influencers, sponsored posts. It's not just nice to have anymore.
No, it's table stakes.
Yeah.
Survival. And as e-commerce keeps growing, that fight for attention gets even tougher. So for you, whether you're running a business or just, living your digital life, understanding how to engage online is critical. It's fundamental now.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it? There's some serious friction. What's the biggest drag? The thing that makes people hesitant?
Well, it has to be cybersecurity concerns, data breaches.
Yeah, those big high-profile hacks. They've made users pretty nervous about sharing personal info online, understandably so.
And that loss of trust, it's a real problem. It affects how much people engage, slows down adoption of new things.
Yeah.
And for businesses, the risks are huge, legal, financial, and just their reputation.
So how do they fix that?
Well, it's an ongoing thing. You need strong cybersecurity, obviously, but also clear, transparent data policies. And just being proactive about managing risks. It's about rebuilding that confidence.
Okay, so we have these big drivers, these significant challenges. Where's it all heading? What trends should we watch?
Good question. A major trend is how technologies like AI, the Internet of Things, and big data are getting woven into everything.
Right, not just buzzwords anymore.
No, they're powering smarter systems. Automated, predictive, leading to better decisions, smoother operations. Imagine your favorite apps just getting even more intuitive, almost knowing what you need next.
And what about actually building these digital things?
Yeah, that's changing too. Tools like Platform as a Service PaaS and these low-code platforms are becoming huge. They let businesses, even smaller ones, create and launch digital experiences much faster. Less need for massive development teams. It's like digital Lego.
Interesting. So easier creation, smarter systems. But what's the most critical trend driving all this?
I'd say it's the intense focus on the customer experience, making it truly central.
How so?
Companies are pouring money into real-time personalization, making things feel unique to you, and omni-channel engagement, making sure your experience is smooth, whether you're on a website, a mobile app, social media.
So it follows you seamlessly.
Exactly. Seamless interactions everywhere, meeting you wherever you happen to be online. The whole point is to deliver smarter, more intuitive digital journeys that make you, the user, want to stick around, feel understood.
Okay, so wrapping it up then. The digital market is being constantly reshaped. You've got tech innovation pushing forward.
User expectations always rising.
And this underlying need for trust. And for businesses to be agile, to adapt quickly.
Absolutely. It's moving incredibly fast. So maybe a final thought for you listening. In this world, driven by all these forces, Think about your own digital life. What's one simple thing you could do today, maybe, to make your online interactions feel a bit more secure? Or maybe just more satisfying? Something to chew on.